Hi, this is Takashino from Jazz Lab Japan. Today I just want to talk about the difference, between the OJC and Japanese produced wave jazz classics series. Recently I got a bunch of them. OJC series. Some of them are rare titles, some of them are just popular titles, and also the wave jazz classic series. The titles, great titles. But as you know, and as I have already talked about, all of those series, the titles in the series were manufactured, cut pressed at the Fantasy US, not here in Japan. Wave Japan, in the early 90s, produced and just teamed up with Fantasy US to make a great jazz reissue series called the Wave Jazz Classics series. You know that I already talked about a lot about that series, right? And later on in the mid 90s, Victor Music Japan, did it almost the same. The concept is almost the same. So Victor Music Japan teamed up with the Fantasy US to reissue. I think most of them are really rare titles. To make a reissue series called the Fantasy Custom LP Collection Series. And as I have looked at them and listened to them, intensively, and there is a difference between those, especially the OJC, the Fantasy US OJC series, and Japanese produced Wave Jazz Classics series, and Fantasy Custom LP Collection series by the Victor Music Japan. I just show you the some samples like this one. This is the Don Fleet, all members on the Jazzland label, as you can see here, and this is the Wave Jazz Classics series. It has the original, outer sleeve with the official sticker by the Wave Japan, and the insert here, WWLJ is the serial, but they didn't put that serial on the jacket and also the label, just on the sticker here and the light out. That's the thing. And this one, I think this is rare title, Mooseville, Frank West Quartet, Mooseville. And as you can see, the label design, this is the original Mooseville label design, green one. But this one is Fantasy Custom LP Collection series by the Victor Music Japan, in conjunction with Fantasy US. Yes, and this one, Curtis Fla, new trombone on the Prestige label. But with this one, this is the OJC. OJC. I think this is one of the early OJC series, because if you look at the jacket, they use the thick paper, unlike the later OJC series. So it's a solid, thick paper, and there is no barcode at the back. So I believe this is one of the early OJC, right? Yes. And the difference, there is a couple of differences I found out. The first difference is that the weight of the vinyl, the OJC and the other titles, that I didn't show you right now, I weighed them, and the weight of the OJC is around 114 gram, the vinyl is 114 gram, but either with the Wave Jazz Classics series or the Fantasy Custom LP Collection series by the Victor Music Japan, both weigh far much heavier than the OJC series. Actually, both two, this Frank West Quartet, Mooseville, and Don Sleet, all members, the vinyls weigh 134 gram, with my scale. So 20 gram difference. So the weight is quite different, The Japanese produced Wave Jazz Classics series, and Victor Music produced Fantasy Custom LP Collection series. The vinyl is heavier than the OJC series. That's one thing. And the other thing is the quality of the vinyl that they used. I think, because there is a concrete difference, but I assume that the Japanese produced Wave Jazz Classics series and the Fantasy Custom LP Collection series, the quality of the vinyl, I think, is better than the OJC series. Yeah, and with Wave Jazz Classics series and the Fantasy Custom LP Collection series, I believe, they use the virgin vinyl, not the recycled one. That's what I can tell, because if you look at the vinyl, itself, the quality is, by the look, the quality is different, really. The pressing, I think, almost the same, but because of the quality of the vinyl, the pressing, at the end becomes different, right? So the way I see the OJC series, the vinyl of the OJC series and the vinyl of the Wave Jazz Classics series and the Fantasy Custom LP Collection series is quite different, yeah. I don't know about the OJC series, but maybe they didn't use the virgin vinyl. That's what I can tell. So that's the difference, There are two differences I told you right now. And I don't know about the sound quality. Both are good, They sound good, as I have already talked about, OJC is good. I love it, but somehow, OJC, if you spin it, there's a quite difference, especially at the quiet parts of the album, in between the tracks, of course, the surface noise is there, obviously, with the OJC. But, with the Wave Jazz Classics series and, Fantasy Custom LP Collection series, I think there is a quite difference, yeah. It's quieter, yeah. So I think because of the quality of the vinyl that they used, yeah, that's the thing. So I don't know, OJC and Japanese produced Wave Jazz Classics series or the Fantasy Custom LP Collection series, both are good. But the quality of the vinyl that they used, I think is quite different. Yeah, of course the weight is different. That's why the Wave Jazz or the Fantasy Custom LP Collection series, I think the sound is much more solid. Yeah, that's it. That's what I found out. And the difference between the OJC and the Japanese produced Wave Jazz Classics or the Fantasy Custom LP Collection series. The source, I think, is the same, right? The same Fantasy US, did current pressed. And the source that they used, I think, is the same. That's it. And in case you have, OJC series and the Fantasy Custom LP Collection series or the Wave Jazz Classics series, you just, compare the two. There is a difference, as I told you right now. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you like it. And lastly, I always keep saying, just stay safe and healthy, really, and be connected with the music we love, jazz, of course. And thank you for watching today, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.